Oh, now the sixth stream, case 2. We're on case 2. I was thinking about the game a bit. How the hell is this case 2 gonna go to 4? I was just thinking about it, because if we're on the ship, our next stop is like somewhere else, right? And crew said that they're just gonna drop me off anywhere, right? I don't really know. And yeah. Also, there was something. Well, I'm liking Herlock so far. I'm liking it very much. Yeah, I'm interested to see if he continues to be like a bit of a laughing stock throughout the whole game, or if he still has the like like the like I can actually solve crimes Sherlock in as well. Yeah, it's gonna be good. This game is so good so far. Yeah. I don't think if there was something else. I don't really know this case so far. I mean, obviously, some Russian person was in the room who could write Russian, but I don't know. It's so open-ended so far. Maybe I'm not very far into it. We'll see. Check that the game is going. It is. The background changes. Oh. Just the music in this game doesn't get old. Wanted to check out. Maybe it's the bed in the other room. Oh man. Never gonna get old. Not this bed either. I read there's an achievement for something about examining a bed. Something about pillows. I'll try one more time in the Asma's cabin. I'm just going insane. Okay, whatever. It's time to do the dance of deduction. Okay, so we can't actually do anything until... Let's try talking to him. Mr. Roylott, we'd like to talk to you about something. No. Oh, I do not want to talk. Leave my cabin now. This is going terribly. We're not getting anywhere here. But there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with this Mr. Roylott. I've got to see. Roylott, what do you make of this? Listen, you know why I'm wearing these dark glasses? No, not really. I do not have to look at things I do not want to look at. You understand me? Wish I could point out that you can still see things even when wearing sunglasses. But this chilly air has frozen my lips shut. You have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes. You need only to address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of that wardrobe, whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time. But you would need to call on my great powers of detection into service. Oh, and it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in his cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please! Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I'm about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. It is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness? I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes? I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read. It is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shush! I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I have quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shares, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment no less, midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Oh, Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my very own eyes. That was a great deduction. Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What an effable twaddle. Oh yes, I I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the colour has drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I have possibly known such things, you wish to say? Very well then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I do cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. But plainly, let us work through my deductions together. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, as we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. We are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard of you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular, the fascinating front-page article, which, it would appear, you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Oh, and I assure you, the eyes speak much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that travelling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps, or one slight enough to fit therein. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the travelling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again... Oh, coup d'oeil, like eyes? No, that's you. What is it? Singular eye.
Once again, we only need follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason we refuse to open your travelling case can be found in the pages of the newspaper. There is another stimulating article. We turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us but to one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Thus concludes Aleks Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma. Elemensky. Susato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it?
Well, stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know? But that did seem a little different somehow. I almost want to believe that he's just sandbagging. And it's just intentional that he gets it wrong, but I don't know.
Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you?
It's about your deductions. Would you mind?
Not at all. Go on.
Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other.
Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier. And at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary, well able to revolutionize his own appearance.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do.
That's not the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you pushed really hard.
I don't suppose that the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she?
You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15.
No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years' worth of her would be poking out from the case.
Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case.
Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes.
Look, this whole thing is starting to turn into a circus.
Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observations are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of the matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off.
Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Susato.
It's just 1 or 2 key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think?
Switch some key words in his deductions?
Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction.
Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind.
This man is a lot of work.
At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me.
It's not that funny.
Ah, you, my good fellow. Sorry. Take a moment to look at your wrists.
My wrists? Oh, where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did?
I felt they might hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction.
I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel.
And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished.
I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this.
So, let us begin. Aleks Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. So, dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott. Obviously, what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You're on the verge of using the shears to cut away that copious beard you sport.
I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means, I suppose, that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a key word here, Naruhodo-san, and see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deductions better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san. I am either one to do something about this. Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? Oh, okay, so you can only rotate. Can't. Oh. Okay.
Yes!
Yes! You are on the verge of using the shears to cut away the golden locks you sport.
Indeed, you have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush, golden hair certainly does not befit an old man.
You are not a man at all. You're a woman. And judging from the length of your and sheen of your hair,
one still very much in her youth.
oh no! If only I'd managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected.
The question then begs this: why would you desire to rid yourself of those magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary.
Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise. Did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Now strictly Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? Evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolution. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something else that fits the facts as we understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try and hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, don't you? I don't know, I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. It pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in her costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, these must be remnants of the glue you used to stick the paper seal on the wardrobe. That's right, it was pulverized rice. Pulverized rice? Yes, I pulverized some of the rice from my evening meal, even though it broke my heart. Broke your heart? What do you mean? Remember, I'm a stowaway on this ship. I had to eat. All I had to eat was Kazama's leftovers. And a couple of grains of rice would have meant the difference between life and death. Oh my, it must have been awful for you, Naruhodo-san. But I have some glue with me, as it happens. You're welcome to use it this evening. Oh, thank you very much. Doesn't need to use it this evening.
Yes!
Yes! Evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prisma ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It
appear that we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolova Pavlova.
Ah.
Russian lady voice. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. Would please...
I can't do this voice. Okay, let me figure out how you do this voice.
So, a Russian blade man. How do you turn a Russian man into female?
Russian? I am from Russia. Mother Russia. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Иди нахуй.
Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see.
Ah,
And I assure you, the eyes speak much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. She clearly can't be inside that traveling case as well.
no, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all.
Which case, it is the crime this young woman is apparently committing.
Ah, I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You look so pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes?
Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else in here that shows what this woman is up to. Wow, look at this dazzling tiara.
Why is he turning into a mix of Sholmes and himself?
I've never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Naruhodo-san, try it on.
What? Me?
Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently.
Oh, you get to examine stuff. That's fun.
It's a very small case, isn't it? You can see instantly that no person could possibly fit inside there.
So, does that tell us that Miss Pavlova's telling glance in this direction was focused on something else?
If that's true, though, it doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
Well, if there's nothing incriminating inside this case, why did she refuse to let us look inside?
Yes, I wonder why. Perhaps she has a perfectly harmless reason, though.
Yes!
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara.
Ah,
I believe this tiara is worn on stage by the dancers in Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the report is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary,
the crime you have committed is theft.
Oh no! Oh no!
yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you.
Ugh! Miss Pavlova, I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me.
This girl is only 15 years old. She's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely.
All right, I will tell you everything. There is no point in hiding it now.
Come, come, let us not be hasty.
What? What?
There remains one unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I've ever laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written on the books on that shelf.
He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you?
Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this?
It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so?
Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her.
Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself.
And there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area. That's where... Area. If that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn.
I agree, that's the only answer.
Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase.
This is a charming little picture, isn't it?
What is it?
Someone climbing a steep mountainside? Or descending one, it seems to me.
You've been on the flat sea for a while. Maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. Ah, it looks like these are all the same books that we have in our cabin. I suppose the steward likes to make sure the passengers have plenty to read for the long voyage.
And have you noticed how all the books have fallen over? Just like in Kazuma-sama's cabin.
It's almost like someone's taken a sweep at them. Maybe Miss Pavlova. Was she practicing her ballet? Or maybe there was just wind or turbulence, or they call it turbulence on a boat? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, we don't have time to look through all these books at the moment.
We couldn't even if we wanted to. They're all in Russian. Well, that's a relief. Let's try our luck elsewhere. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Burya. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. She's got a pet in the bag. There was exactly the same notice in our cabin too. I wonder what happens if you break the rules. Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Naruhodo-san. You'd probably be left adrift in the freezing cold ocean. Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Take that! Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written within the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents.
Aye. Yet. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord.
Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your travelling case.
Is the last item, as forbidden on the vessel's rules of passage, a pet. Ugh!
Elementary.
So clearly, you aren't who you said you were. No, I am Grimsby Roylott. I'm not Grimsby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel.
Which couldn't have been easy. Burya is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed?
She's Russian, so she probably hasn't a compass in the crew.
In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone.
So if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was in that? Who was it? Who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin?
That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, no, none other than this young lady, naturally.
More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I don't get this.
Tinkling of a bell. Oh, I guess it's like a... I don't know, comparing her to an instrument? I don't know.
I was too scared and ran away from Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man, I see. I put on a fur hat and a beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
Things do indeed happen like that from time to time.
Are those two even talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. No.
I feel like I should try and make Susato's voice a little bit more Japanesey, Englishy, but I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't do a good job.
What exactly do you have inside your travelling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say any of this to the crew...
Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night.
Yes, all right. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, wasn't it something? Wasn't it something? Mr. Sholmes' great deduction?
It was certainly something, yes. Just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible.
Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing.
Oh, yes? What?
Observe your wrists.
My...
Ah, your hands are cuffed again.
What?
But how?
True to my word, I have restored your shackles.
When? And why?
There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Can't it, really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what this speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. Niet. Niet. I no speak.
Can I show you this? I'm actually a university student from the Empire of Japan, you see?
That means nothing to me.
No, why would it?
Mr. Naruhodo, if you're determined to flaunt your Yumai badge, at least choose a Japanese person who might recognize it.
Miss Susato, can I show you this?
Maybe later.
I could show Inspector Hosonaga too. I wonder if that's actually changed the dialogue. That would be really funny. I did it before. Oh yeah, of course I did. I wonder if the dude's back in the passage.
Let me see.
Don't touch!
Huh?
I will tell you what I know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say? Forbid it.
Oh, sorry. Well, as you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. Poking around in a young lady's private belongings. Neither shall I allow it. Hypocrite.
Do you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night?
One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast.
The man who died, he was a friend of mine.
Oh,
That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking?
Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded.
Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us?
yet. I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me.
Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet.
Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life.
You wish to forget. A challenging proposition when you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money. I has no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only little food and water, and we must all dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, they would have killed me. It would have killed me.
So you ran away to protect yourself?
Ita, and the crew of this ship, they have all been very kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin.
If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum.
Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... So the friend you mentioned is inside your travelling case, is that right?
I don't think animals are allowed on board,
According to the rules of passage...
Oh, please, don't tell. Don't tell any crew. If they found my precious...
And the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt.
Ah!
So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes.
But what sort of pet is your friend?
A little puppy? It is, isn't it?
Yet.
Maybe an adorable little rabbit?
Yet.
Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you?
Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then?
You may well ask. I have no idea.
I thought Sherlock was supposed to know like everything about every country. Because he just studies all day.
You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerinas as friends. Isn't it obvious? Must be a chicken.
Really?
Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, fresh daily eggs. And when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance.
So you'd eat your friends? I'll remember that.
Yet. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. Ah ha 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 ha.
She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. It's something I would like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Oh, wait.
Ah, Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Berger stopped at no port last night.
Ah, that's it, of course.
So how is it, pray, that you came to be on board?
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came forward.
Strong enough. That is none of your business.
Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. Accomplice. Wait.
An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage.
Is Stroganov the revolutionary? So, like, okay, see his eyes. That's got his eyes covered. It could be. Sorry, what was that?
It is how Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I'm an angel.
Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I can never resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same.
A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. Quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, in fact.
Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. She's still not going to let us inspect, okay. I'm just going to present everything. Miss Pavlova, would you take a look at this?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
Mr. Naruhodo, you're frightening this poor girl. Oh, sorry, I wasn't trying to. Miss Pavlova, about this article. Did you know about this merciless revolutionary already?
Yet. But when I saw the picture, I couldn't believe it. He looked just like me in disguise.
Huh? Am I the only one around here with eyes?
The other man, the one wearing brown, who also said so. He said we look same.
Yes, he says a lot of things, but I have a strong feeling that besides you and the great detective, you won't find another soul on this ocean who thinks there's any similarity there at all.
Mr. Naruhodo, I won't allow you to speak ill of Mr. Sholmes.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. It's Pavlova. It's Pavlova about this article.
You look so beautiful, like a fairy. I'm scared. If my picture is in newspapers... You poor girl.
She's so young, just 15 years old. For her to have run away all by herself, she must have felt very, very alone. This is the diary of my friend who passed away.
His diary?
Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
A speckled band? I don't understand.
It's strange, isn't it? The ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see? It's up there on the wall.
In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh! Miss Pavlova, has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? Yet, I don't know anything.
Oh.
Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes, what?
Yes, what?
Wow, she's fast.
Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please.
All right, I will come now.
What?
You must leave now.
Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us.
Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott.
Get out. The passenger said out. You want me to throw you out?
It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later.
What a pity.
And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. I might leave it there for now, a bit of a shorter one. Let's see, how long has this been going for? No way to pause the game or like exit. Oh. Okay, well, let's see. Have, 1 hour. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, I'll leave it there. That was fun. We're getting somewhere with this now. I mean, it's still very early on. It's hard to say how this case is going to unfold. Captain's going to have something to do with it. The crew is going to
there's going to be some sort of like little mini conspiracy, probably. And there's still the matter of like the motive of it and Casimir was going to be doing in Great Britain, and the fact that the first culprit won't be prosecuted. There's a lot of story elements yet to be unpacked. But yeah, that's the title. Nope. Thing. Right. Oh. Let's save. Yes. Well, there we go. Let me hear his objection, Jones. Also, but I can't help, right? Naruhodo's take that sounds like he's from the north. Maybe that's just me. Take that!
Objection!
Objection! Ah! Objection!
Objection!
Objection! I wonder when he's actually going to be in court like that. I don't know.